radio, which is a really strange thing when you're speaking to technical. So, tonight, it's quite an important show because I've got my dad with me tonight, and the first song played alright, which was Take Me Home by Slade.
Take Me Back Home.
So, Dad, we're talking about prostate cancer tonight, and I want to thank you for coming on because as a family we found something out in the last 3.5 weeks, which is your diagnosis of prostate cancer. So, to start off with, how did it come to you getting the examination? What were going on leading up to that?
Right, good evening, John, or good evening, son. I've got metal hips, so if I go for a walk for over 4 miles, I get terrible back pain. Right. Well, when the Queen passed away, my wife Jill, she decided she wanted to go down to London, and I went down with her. We had a lovely day going round Green Park, looking at the flowers that everybody had laid.
Yeah.
We walked round London, down the Mall, down to the Cenotaph, and did all the Londony touristy bits.
Yeah.
And when I got back to, we walked back to King's Cross train station.
Yeah.
And I got to there. We'd done 27,000 steps. That was on my wife's pedometer reading.
Yeah.
And I couldn't walk. I just needed to sit down. I had pain across the small of my back. I had pain down my bum cheeks, or bottom cheeks. I had pain down my legs. Now, I knew there was something not right.
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't end up with pain like that. I decided to book in to see my doctor.
Yeah.
And I thought the usual thing was I get sent for another X-ray on my hips.
Yeah.
Because the metal. What happened at that time, there was the retired BBC presenter from Breakfast Telly, a guy called Bill Turnbull.
That was around Strictly a few years ago.
That's right.
Yeah.
Bill had died with prostate cancer.
Yeah.
And I would just happen to read about Bill Turnbull, his story, his symptoms, and some of the symptoms that he had, I could relate to myself. So what I did, I rang my doctor up, had a telephone conversation with my doctor, explained the situation, and the first thing he did was, I'm going to send you for physiotherapy.
Yeah.
So I went along for physiotherapy, and a week later I went for a blood test.
So it's quite a short time scale, isn't it?
It's a short time scale. I had a blood test on the 10th of October.
Yeah. It
was a PSA blood test, which I'll come back to the two tests in a minute. It was a PSA, which is a prostate specific antigen test.
Yeah.
It's a blood test that gives you a score.
Yes.
Right. Well, what happened? I had the blood test.
Yeah.
The guy that took my blood said, "You're a big strapping lad. Off you go. You'll get your results in a week, and off you go." Well, what happened was the blood test was at 12:30. At 11 o'clock on the day after, I got a phone call from the doctors, and it just told me that the suspected prostate cancer.
Yeah.
Why the suspected prostate cancer was, coming back to the PSA, the prostate specific antigen test, a reading for a man of my age at 65 is 0 to 4.
Yeah.
10 is the danger level, and I was mine was 19.
So effectively double
what it should be. He said to me, because at this time I broke down, I was in tears.
That's understandable.
I was absolutely gobsmacked. He said he could do a fast track for an MRI scan.
Okay.
So it was a 14-day fast track. Well, I said, well, I'm going on holiday tomorrow.
Yeah.
So he said to me, when are you going? I'm going for a week. I'm back Wednesday week.
That's right.
He said to me, right, what I will do is on the following Wednesday, the day you're coming back, I will send your thing for an MRI scan. Because the thing is, I had to be available for 14 days. It might have come. It might have come. So right, what happens is, the Tuesday afternoon, the day before we come back, I got a phone call off the neurologist at Airedale Hospital.
Okay.
From the neurology.
Is this while you were on holiday?
I was on holiday, yeah. And she was actually able to explain everything to me. I got over my tears. I was still weepy, but we had a great conversation about what I would expect when I went for an MRI scan.
Yep.
And what she was doing, she was pressing the button to say, right, you are now in the 14-day, any time in 14 days.
Yep.
I was available. So that were fine. I was a fast track for an MRI scan. Right?
Was that within our own Airedale?
That was at our local hospital, Airedale General Hospital at Stainton.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I did, I waited and waited days. I got a letter, well I got a telephone call, and then I got a letter to say that I was booked in for the 14th of... I was booked in, I do remember, it was a 14-day fast track, and I was booked in for an MRI the following Wednesday, the 19th of October. I went and had my MRI scan. It's a strange experience going into an MRI scanner, because you go into a tube, it's open-ended, and it's very, very, very noisy.
Do they give you a chance to put music on?
Yes, they put...
Makes no difference at all.
Well, you're aware of it. When I went for my MRI scan, they took me to one side, sat me in a chair and said, right, we need you to have a catheter fitted. Now, a catheter is a sort of big needle. What they do is they put it into your arm.
Right, I thought it was a catheter.
No, not on you, John Thomas. It was a catheter in the arm. They flushed it through, and the reason they do that is the MRI scan takes 30 minutes.
Yep.
15 minutes in, they bring you out and they put dye into your arm.
Okay.
And what it does, it shows, it gives a clearer picture of my prostate region. It also shows up if there's anything that shouldn't be there, if any cancer's there, if the cancer's spread or whatever, if the cancer's to it. So, but I want to make it quite clear that having this catheter fitted and this dye put into me, it didn't hurt. Okay. I felt nothing. There were no pain.
Well, that's good.
There were no pain. So
at this point, let's go to the first, second song at evening. So you started off with Take Me Back Home by Slade.
Yes.
You've always been a big fan of Slade, I know that. I took My Love of Slade off your record, which you told me not to play. So I did anyway.
Yeah.
So why the next one, Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up?
Why Rick Astley? John asked me to do 4 records. And Rick Astley, if Rick Astley had come out of Atlanta or the Motown studios, he'd have been the biggest star in the world. He'd got the best black voice in a white man. And I've always liked Rick Astley. It's the most played records in our house. I play a lot of music, but Rick Astley...
Well, with that being said, let's go Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. So now I'll turn it down so we don't get stuck with the Facebook notice. So, to everybody on Facebook, thank you for joining. Tonight is quite a... Sunday nights, to anybody who's watching for the first time, it is a night where I spend more time focused on the microphone, because it's radio show, Talking Thread, because mental health matters. So if you're wanting to listen to music, tune in to drystoneradio.com, and we will be playing music for there. I've just got to keep an eye on it because with my dad being as old as what he is, most of the songs are about 3 minutes.
Yeah, there's a name. There's a name.
Yeah, my dad's name's also John. So so it's quite a strange show tonight because you don't think you're ever going to interview your own family. That's first and foremost. You don't think you're ever going to interview your family about prostate cancer, and yet here we are today. So to everybody watching, thank you, and please share this, whether it's live, whether it's later. Please get it out because people my age and above need to be checking their prostate cancer. You really need prostates rather. You really need to be checking your own prostate from about 40. I've suffered prostatitis, which I've talked about this week. Hello Andy, how are you, mate? Hello Mary, Kirsty, Jane, Stephanie. This is quite a lot of people tonight. So prostatitis to me was bad enough. I discovered I was bleeding. Did you ever discover blood? Or? No. So you see, this is an example of two people who've had prostate issues and two people discovering through two different mechanisms. The point that we need to get across is that men need to do a check on their prostate. There is such. Do we talk about the digit test?
No, we're going to come to that.
Yep.
What is a prostate? Symptoms and then test.
So there are tests that we can do to ourselves to a degree, which we're going to go into. So I would kind of say at this point, I don't know how we're going to say that, and I'll have to hide my head because I laugh really awkwardly at inappropriate moments.
Right, we'll talk about what is a prostate.
Yeah, we're going to do that. So
Has the castle finished?
No, we've got another 50 seconds, 49 seconds to go. So I hope everybody's weekend's been good so far. Mine's been kind of up and down, thinking about the show. 'Cause you want to do right by, whenever you've got somebody doing this with you, you want to do right by them. It just adds it up a notch when it's your old man. So yeah, there we go. And then of course the radio didn't start again, but I managed to get hold of technical today and we got going. They were able to dial in and sort it out. So there are definite issues there, but thankfully they're not mine, which is good. So with that being said, we're about to go back live to radio. See, if you look there as well, there's a countdown. So and there we have Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. So tonight's all about prostate cancer awareness and my dad's own journey discovering prostate cancer, how he's dealing with it, and to say when you first told me how you are now, there's just a marked leap forward. It's like you're very composed and you sort of... Have you come to terms with it?
Have I come to terms with it? No. I'm putting a very, very brave face on for everybody. I'm being very, very positive. But when I have my dark periods, when I'm on my own, little thing that really got to me was last Tuesday. Me and Jill's my wife.
Yeah.
We went up to the local garden centre and I had a cup of tea and a cup of coffee and a brew. And they've got this most wonderful Christmas. I mean, it's massive. Christmas, I don't know what you call them. You take your kids there, you go in.
Stephen Smith's or Woodbank?
Woodbank.
Yeah, we always used to go to Stephen Smith's.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic, and I was walking around there. And I obviously, I've thought about nothing else apart from this MRI test.
Yep.
And I broke down because I thought, is this going to be my last ever Christmas? Because I do think, is this going to be my last ever Christmas? And why I say that is tomorrow I get my results. I don't know how far, I don't know what to expect. I think it's only natural that you fear the worst. And then I'm going to see a consultant at 9:45 in the morning, and I'm meeting him, and I fear the worst. But I'm not here about me. I want to make it quite clear that this, as we go on, this prostate cancer It's massive. It's massive, and I've got the details in front of me. But before we go any further, I'll say, what is the prostate?
Yeah, I know I've had it and I still don't know what it is.
Yeah, a prostate is a small gland in the male reproduction system. It's about the size of a walnut. The gland only grows in male puberty, when young lads are getting excited, and men over 50, and in some cases 40. Right? Well, let's look at the facts, the world facts, and these are last year. 1 in 8 men over 50 will get it.
12.5% of us.
No, I mean, come on. The worldwide diagnosis, and this is men that have actually been and got checked, not men, it's people that have been checked, is 1.4 million people, men, were diagnosed with it last year. That's 1.4 million men who got a prostate cancer check.
Is that globally or UK?
No, it's worldwide.
Got you.
Right. In the UK, last year, 88,000 men were diagnosed. 88,000 men were diagnosed. 1,692 men were done a week. A day, 241 men were diagnosed with it daily.
That's a hell of a lot, is that?
And what the scores on the doors mean is that of 88,000 positive diagnoses, 84% of the men will go on to live more than 10 years.
Okay.
What they don't say is that 12,000 of them men won't make the 10 years. Yeah. And that's the scary thing. Will not survive 10 years. Not the 88%, it's the 12% we should be looking at. Right?
I agree with that.
Right, we talk about testing, and there's only 2 tests. The prostate-specific antigen. Like I said, for a guy in my age at 65, you should be 0 to 4. My level's 19, 9 past the danger level.
Do we get asked as men as we get older to go for these tests, or is it?
No, we don't. I mean, ladies get invited to go for a smear test. They get invited to have a mammogram, but there's nothing for men. It's not. It should be made available. They should be getting called in to go and get checked.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. The other one, the dreaded one, which puts the fear of God up men, is the DRE. It's the digital rectal examination, right? Digital, or digit, is a finger, and I'll be straight with you, it's a finger inserted into your back passage.
That is just really, really...
It's an invasive, it's horrible test, but what you've got to remember, it's horrible for us, but it's also horrible for the doctor having to do it. Fortunately, I haven't had to have that because I got my blood test and I was over. You know, there's certainly the signs there that my prostate, there's something not right with my prostate.
So with the digit test, what is the...
Right, I can put this. It's the doctor puts a glove on, he puts some lubrication, and the best way it takes less than 2 seconds.
Yeah.
2 seconds. So there's an easy way of checking a 2-second test. It's just unbutton your trousers, let them drop to the floor, pull them back up, and fasten them. And that's less than what it takes. It's not pleasant.
No, I can believe that.
It's not pleasant. It doesn't hurt. It's not pleasant for either the male or the doctor. And let's put it the other way. You get blokes going, well, they're not sticking the finger up my bum. Well, basically, don't and die. And that is the bottom line. It's about making people aware of this is one of the 2.
Yeah.
One of the 2. It's an horrible test. I've had it done. A few years ago I went in with back pains and I had it done and there were no swelling of my prostate. One thing that has come out of this is it's about making males aware that there's nothing to be scared of going.
It's more that thought, isn't it? It's more with the digit test, it's more that thought of it, but if we don't do it, we don't find out.
When you look at ladies going for a smear test, it can be 20 to 30 seconds.
Oh.
Mine's, it's a 2 second, it's done, it's over. You know, and that is the worst bit of it. But when you look at what I've got, I'm going to see a consultant tomorrow, and I just don't know what he's going to throw at me. And if men can hear this tonight and say, hang on a minute, I want to go and I'm going to have my prostate checked, get yourselves off, lads. You know, because I can tell you now, I won't name names, but a friend of mine down in London, who I'm very, very close with, he went with an asthma-related problem to his doctor, explained to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, come on then, drop your trousers and we'll check you out. He's the same age as me, he had no swelling on his prostate, but he's a public figure, and I know he will use this in his platform to get the message across. He's gone for a PSA test, and he's going to use me as been diagnosed with it as a platform for male awareness.
Which is a positive thing, isn't it?
It is. Also, another friend of mine, good friend, he rang me up and he says, I'm going for a check, John. And these are guys, you know, just ordinary chappies, they're going to get checked. And I'm trying to get the message across to men, go and get checked. And to lovely wives out there and girlfriends and partners, if your menfolk have got symptoms, make them go.
Yeah, do. Don't ever sit back on anything like this.
Yeah. I mean, I have a list of symptoms here. Mine basically was the pain down my back passage, passing of urine.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, when you're 8, 9-year-old, you have a badge of honour who can pee up the wall, who can get it up the highest. Well, goodness me, it just trickles out. And it trickles and trickles and trickles.
How long have you been experiencing symptoms?
Quite a while.
What are we talking? 12 months? 2 years?
2 years happened. And it was only because of Bill Turnbull going public with his symptoms that made me realise, hang on a minute, I've got something wrong. Men, the weak flow, they're getting up 3 times a night to pass urine. I don't get up in the middle of the night. I might do occasionally because I don't have a drink after 6 o'clock. I don't drink alcohol anyway. I mean, I'm not teetotal, but I don't. Sometimes when you're passing urine, you can have a burning sensation. And yeah, I've had the odd burning sensation, but not enough to concern me, even though it probably was all related. Blood in the urine, when you're passing blood in the urine, or blood in semen, it's there, that is a sign. Blood when you go and pass a stool, and
Yeah.
people say, well, we don't look. No, but you wipe your bottoms, and if there's a show of colour there, it's there. Lower back and between the bum cheeks, loss of control on bladder and bowel movements. Now, I'll tell you this is, I get up in the morning and I have a cup of tea and then a cup of coffee, and I do not get any, I just get this, I need to get to the toilet quick. I don't have
No warning.
no warning, and you know, there's no other way to say this, I don't have lumpy stools, it's more diarrhea, it's more loose, it flows. And yeah, I have been caught a couple of times.
Well, that's going to happen though, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know, it is, and these are the things that people will be embarrassed about, and we need to get rid of that embarrassment factor, because if we don't get rid of it, how many more are going to suffer? How many more people needlessly are going to suffer? Because I think the thing that I used to think about a prostate is that I would bleed, and when I had my own sort of scare, there was blood, and that's what made me got checked. But here's the thing: if I'd have had any of the other symptoms that you just said, I'd have just put that down to a poor diet. I nearly swore there.
I mean, what I've just talked about, the passing of the urine, the burning, it doesn't mean to say you've got prostate cancer.
No, but it means you
It
get
doesn't.
checked out, doesn't it?
Exactly. That's the message, John, is getting out there and get yourself checked. Get yourself checked. Because I don't want anybody else that are sat thinking, oh, I'm going to ignore it, I've got them symptoms. Because I've got a family waiting on a phone call tomorrow. I'm going to see a consultant and I do not know, and I'm getting upset now. I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what is going to be thrown at me with that consultant. I'm going with my wife.
Yeah.
And the first two people I will be ringing will be my son John sat here and my other son James. And we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, many years ago, I lost both my mum and sister. And I remember my dad coming to see me to tell me that my mum was terminally ill with cancer. And I know what I went through. And my family, my friends are sat, if they're listening to this, if they're not, they'll be waiting for a phone call tomorrow of me. And I hope they've caught it soon enough. And yeah, well, we can do this and we can do that. And there's all sorts of things that they can do. I mean, I'm not a medical man, but I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
No.
But what I'm trying to say is, and it's get the message out there, go and get yourselves checked. Get yourselves checked. Don't be scared. I mean, the finger, the digital, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. They're doing it daily. They don't like doing it, don't doctors? But they like saving lives.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one we need to be talking about.
So we're going to go to the penultimate song of the evening. This is The Greatest Love of All, but it isn't the version that you'd think it was. I think George Benson wrote it, didn't he? George
Benson wrote it for Muhammad Ali, for the greatest,
yeah,
the Muhammad Ali life story, but it was just a record that I'm a massive George Benson fan.
Oh, it's fantastic. I used to remember listening to that one. Yeah. Well, so anyway, yeah, because your mum used to play that way back when we were kids.
Yeah,
waiting for Sunday lunch. I remember George Benson's Sheep Rolls Royce.
It was the vinyl George Benson double album that I bought John's mum as a Christmas present for me. Because I like George. You know, if we're going to be honest, I bought it for me. And she never knew. Well, I think she probably suspected. But no, George Benson, it's...
Yeah, great.
George came out with a quote. A singer can rap, but a rapper can't sing, and I'm a singer.
That's fair, true,
that's that. I'm glad I got that out right way, didn't I?
Yeah, that would have been a bit bad.
That would have been a JBism, would that?
So here we go. Greatest Love of All.
I'm consciously aware, John, of we've gone through everything.
Oh, okay.
But
well, we'll just have a conversation when we come back for the last 10 minutes. So I want to thank everybody who's watching so far, and we will keep you updated. We have to be as honest as what we can about this thing. You're at hospital tomorrow. I don't work on a Monday. If you want to come round here and tell me face to face, do.
Well, that's a decision that I will...
That's yours to take.
I don't know
how... I can put kettle on for you and Jill.
I don't know how I will react.
You're not driving, are you, tomorrow?
No, Jill will be driving.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I will react to it. I don't know how Jill's going to react. Jill's been absolutely amazing with me. She's just hanging on. You know, we have talked about it. We haven't discussed about anything about why, you know, what if tomorrow. And there's that question that could be told to me tomorrow. What? Right, Mr. Bailey, this is it. And we can't go any further.
I've been thinking about both sides of things, and for me, it's because, you see, I don't know why I do it. I don't know if it's because of what I went through, but I think I go to the worst case scenario every single time. Now, for me, I'm already thinking, well, there's a question then to be asked if it is worst case scenario, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is quality over quantity, and the only thing that I can say is go back. There was around January. I can send you them. My friend Rob came on and did radio show twice, and he was very clear. It's the conversation that I asked him: why did you choose quality over quantity? Quality over quantity. And it's quite simple. He didn't suffer with pain until around 10 days to go. He had pain, but it wasn't. He believed he would have been a lot worse for the same outcome, and it was a really awkward. Rob were brilliant. It's like you've been. You've just been straight to the point, and it's what's needed. We have to get over all of this fear, and we have to get over. We've got to get over ourselves and just get these things tested.
How are we doing with Georgie?
So we have got another 55 seconds.
No, I think the message is clear that they've got to go and get checked, but the government have to be aware as well that there's this illness, this checking the illness, it needs to be open like a smear test or like a mammogram test. This should be made available for every man, because if it's caught early enough, like I said, they get 10 years or more. It's when it hasn't been caught. And every man, I mean, my doctors are brilliant. Anything that's going, I get sent for. I went for a aorta test, which was, they just did me a scan.
Sorry, I'm just going back to some. So there we have the greatest love of all. That was George Benson's version. So we're now coming up to the time where we have 10 minutes left or so. The last song of the night is going to be In My Life by the Beatles. We've pretty much covered what you wanted to cover, and I think an interesting point that we do need to get across is why aren't the government making prostate tests mandatory? I'm really baffled about this now. Because it's 12%. What you said, 1 in 8.
Yeah.
My immediate brain goes to maths. That's 12.5% of all men will suffer with prostate issues. You say 1 in 8, it doesn't seem quite as. It's the same thing, isn't it? But 12.5% seems quite. Hang on a minute. We're talking 12.5% of all men are going to be impacted by something, and you've got two people to varying degrees here who have been impacted by prostate.
My next door neighbour, he said to me, and he summed it up, and it's perfectly true, because it's a prostate problem, men don't shout loud enough.
We need to do.
That men will just put it to one side. Oh, they don't want to talk about the bums. They don't want to talk about the bottoms. They don't want to talk about it. And it's just a standard thing for men. I mean, I can remember many, many years ago, I did have a show of colour, and it was hemorrhoids.
I remember that.
And the people that I worked with, oh no, God, no, I wouldn't go. But hemorrhoids is not terminal. Prostate cancer, if it's not caught early enough, is. And it is. And just for going and having a small test and a little MRI scan, gone through that, it's what's coming tomorrow. I know how this has affected my family. I know it's affected you. I know it's affected my other son, your brother, and wives and family. I mean, James went to America. He did the New York Marathon.
Yeah, he did.
He's never rung me 4 times on holiday. And he just rang me, how are you? And, he did.
Which is good of him.
It was, but we're there for each other. We're a very strong family. And we'll get through this, whatever.
We have to do, don't we?
We will do. I mean, I've got a 9.5-year-old granddaughter, and I don't plan to go yet. I want to see her get married. I might be a diddery old git when I go and see her get. But That's the reality.
I saw her today and I realised she's 9.
She's 9.5.
I know, and it's like, where's that happened? I remember her going on to hospital and holding her when she was born. That just seems like yesterday, and she was like that, wasn't she?
Yeah, and she's amazingly lovely. She is. Very confident.
She wasn't getting dressed today, she was in her pyjamas.
Oh, well, there's nothing new in that. She tells me the tracksuits, but there are...
No, they're pyjamas.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, and as I've explained in that post, yours and my relationship's been very challenging over years. I think that's been from both sides.
But we're not here to talk about what's going on. We're on about...
No, but the point is, when it came out about what had happened to me, you and me, everything sort of changed. The support network jumped in, and that's what you've been saying, isn't it? It's you're there for one another when it needs to be.
That's another thing about awareness. I mean, if John had told me when he was 15, 16, what had happened, that'd have been a different thing. But it wasn't. And it was only when you actually told me, 10 years after the event had taken place, you were in your middle, late 20s.
I were in hospital, I remember where I was when I first told you.
And it was, well, let's put it this way, he wouldn't be doing life sentence. I'd have been doing a life sentence, because I would have. But that, we're not here about that. We're here about prostate, awareness.
But it all leads to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We support each other.
That's right.
You know, I keep saying of late, it's not a dress rehearsal, isn't life. We need to get these things, like with prostate, we need to get things checked. Ladies get sent for smear tests. You know, why aren't men being sent for PSA tests or digit tests?
Absolutely.
And if you need people to support you, you've got your family around you, you know, just start to open up. Don't sit closed. Goodness knows I sit closed and don't say a lot half at time until it's, you know, and I need to get better at that. But we do get better as we get older. Do you find you've got better as you get older at talking?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there's no secret about the fact that I've got mental health issues.
Nope.
And I joined an organisation called Worth Talking About, local support group. It's becoming worth talking about monster. It's growing and growing because there's a need for men to go out there and talking helps.
Yeah, it does.
Talking helps. And being able to share with people. We don't judge. We're not there to judge. Everybody's different. They've all got their own problems for one thing or another. But we're there for each other. And these probably are the best friends I've ever had. They don't judge, they don't, how do we put it? We're there for each other, and we know we're there for each other. And these guys are waiting on a WhatsApp group chat Worth Talking About tomorrow. And
yeah, it does become like camaraderie, doesn't it?
It does.
That's what I've always said, and it's great that there are so many groups that are opening up, and there's so many people getting trained in how to facilitate. That's something that I never thought I would see. When we started as opening this first group, we never thought it'd grow, we never thought it'd take off. There were Andy's Man Club somewhere right in the distance. You look at Andy's Man Club last night, they are the first. They got involved in the Ricky Hatton fight, and they were actually ring guys supporting the Andy's Man Club representatives doing ring where women stand normally. Yeah. It were ring men, and that's because Ricky Hatton suffers with mental health issues, and he's been very vocal about his journey, and I think that's where we do need to go, because that's the other side to this. If you don't talk about things, your mental health will suffer in addition to the physicality side, and that needs to be addressed, and we need to just, as men, we need to stop hiding away from stuff. We need to stop pretending everything is going to be okay, because what if it's not okay? What if we don't get that chance? What if we don't realise that we are falling apart either mentally or physically? In either way, we get to a point where it's too late to do anything, and when it's too late to do anything, we're left as a cautionary tale of what could have been. So please, anybody listening, anybody watching, if you are at that age, if you are unsure, get to the doctors and have either a digit test or a PSA test. Can they refuse you, or do they have to do that?
No, they don't refuse you. You will go and you will have a consultation with your doctor, and the doctor will give you, and they do, it comes down, it comes down to, again, funding off bloody government, and...
Well...
But I haven't finished, because I'm here tonight, I've not finished. I am getting my facts and figures, and I'm going to go to see my MP, or send him the facts and figures, a guy called Phil Davis down in Shipley.
Oh, you under Shipley?
I'm under Shipley, yeah. I will pass them on to Robbie Moore for Keighley and Ilkley, because I live up in Arden, and we're near enough. I mean, the two giants of campaigning, both Philip and Robbie Moore, the two giants of it. I mean...
We'll get him to me, I'll pass them, I think it's Julian Smith in Skipton.
Well, yeah, that's another one, you see. I've not heard of Julian Smith.
I think it's Julian Smith who does Skipton. He doesn't seem as proactive as what Robbie Moore is, but then again, although I'm in that boundary, I spend more time looking at Robbie Moore does, because I've got more people who I know who live in the Keighley constituency.
Robbie Moore, let's forget he's a Conservative, is the most brilliant. There hasn't been an MP in Keighley and Ilkley since Bob Cryer. I mean, and they can say, oh yeah, we had Gary Waller and we had...
Oh, Gary Waller was shocking.
No, but we had Gary Waller, we had Anne Cryer. Bob Cryer was amazing. He went into Europe, and then he had Bradford South, and it was a brilliant, brilliant MP.
Yeah, it was.
Sadly taken from us in a car accident, far too short.
I remember understanding that,
yeah.
And then I followed Labour, and do you remember there was Tommy Flanagan who looked like he was going to become an MP at one point, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
What's he doing now?
Tommy's running some great big department somewhere over Liverpool way, I believe.
I thought he would have gone on a similar trajectory to Andy Burnham.
He could have done. Andy Burnham was an MP who became the Mayor of Manchester.
Although let's not forget, Andy Burnham was also the Health Secretary who privatised the first hospital in this country. So we have to be careful when, decisions need to be made. So it's kind of like, I don't know, if we've just sort of gone to a tangent.
Yeah, we've gone off on a...
Yeah, that's fine, because anybody who watches me knows that's what I am.
Yeah.
I really do. I go off on tangents, jump backwards and forwards. We're coming up to that time where we've got about 3 minutes before the last song. Dad, I want to thank you for coming on.
And thank you for letting me gob off.
Can I give an update?
Absolutely. I want people that are on here. I will let you know. I will go through John. I will let him know. Obviously, I'm going to let him know tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, early lunchtime, and John can share. I'm prepared if as whatever treatment I have, I'm prepared to come back in a few months and.
Yeah, I'd like that very much, because I think it is so important, Dad, that we do keep talking about it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how this show was going to go, because...
No,
and it's gone well.
I don't think any of us knew.
But what I want to just close out with, by what I always say, this show is about predominantly mental health, but it's bringing awareness to things that can not only affect mental health, but could affect physical health. If there's anybody listening or anybody watching on Facebook who has a story to tell, a journey to share, you feel people's awareness needs to be highlighted, please let me know. It's not the biggest radio show in the world, but I believe there is an audience to get things across, and if things can be shared, we can get that information out. I'll always say this, I'm not a medical professional, I am a mental health professional. I don't have medical qualification, I just have my GCSEs really and a few AS levels, but what I do have is a world of self-experience, which is why I try and help people with the similar issues to myself. But what I also want to do is keep on learning, so if there's an opportunity to bring awareness to something like prostate cancer, let's take that opportunity, let's seize it, and let's make people aware. So blokes, remember, there is 2 tests. There is the digit test, which I'm now thinking we can describe that as down and done. You know, 1, 2, done. And there's also the PSA test. Never be afraid of having anything done to you. Be afraid of what might happen if you don't find out. With that being said, we are now coming up to just 4 minutes to go. Is there the last song, Dad, in my life?
My life?
I know why that's being played.
I used to work part-time for a funeral director, and behind the scenes in the chapel arrest, it was interesting what choice of record people wanted to be played while they were leaving the church or the chapel, before they were going in, playing in between. And there was this record played, and I'm not going to mention the guy who it was, but this record, In Your Life, it just resonated with me, that what a beautiful record for a funeral. To the point of 3 years ago, John's granddad, my father, passed, and when it come down to the records, I asked for this one, and the Undertaker chappie turned around and says, "What a wonderful record."
So with that being said, this has been Talk and Drive, because mental health matters. His name's John, I'm John. I'll be back in a week. Thank you for listening. So let's just see if I got this going on. 2:05, yeah, it's called out because it's 2 minutes 12. But
Yeah.
we've slightly overrun.
What they said on wording, what's people saying?
Well, we're going to go to that now, so I am going to come out of here.
As you've got me for 5 minutes, and that's me, I'm off home.
So let's have a look what people have said. Ryan, good evening, thank you for watching. J9, hello. So let's have a look at some of the comments.
Wow.
So what I've been really pleased at is this week, I told you I did a rebuttal to somebody over something that happened earlier this year.
Oh, is it on?
No, but what had happened is people have been jumping on and watched what we've been doing. So we've had a lot of people tonight. So I think it's amazing that people have been watching. So let's start at the beginning. People have been saying hello to us. Let's just have a look. People are saying that we sound alike, which is...
Oh, that's awful. That's awful. I sound terrible. I worked in Lancashire for 20 years.
So people are saying that we were talking about stuff. So over in a lady there, Stephanie McMaster, she's over in Northern Ireland. She says neurology are not very good over there. Adam shared it for us, which is brilliant. Your phone's now going, Father.
Hello? Oh, thank you. Richard, I'm in my son's flat and we're doing a Facebook thing. Oh, thanks, Richard. Mean it. Yeah, it was just getting the message across. I didn't want to dwell too much on
thank you, Mary. Listen to the old John. Your dad's only a young fella, 20 years older than me.
Richard, I'll talk tomorrow. All right then. Take care. Bye-bye.
Donna Smith were on there, Dad. Nice to see both of us together. Family member of mine had it some time now. He's on active surveillance, as he puts it. People are saying the thoughts are going to be with you tomorrow. Mary Sheridan, who I speak quite a bit to, she's saying it's the most curable cancer, stay positive. Let's have a look. There's lots of people who are watching. Respect to you. So Talk and Thrive and Philip, that's Andy who's saying that. Mary Sheridan, is erectile dysfunction a symptom? I would say if you've got erectile dysfunction, you need to get that checked. That's something not to be embarrassed about either. That's something I've had to face, and it is what it is. You've just got older and your body breaks down a little bit. You don't have the testosterone, I would imagine, that you did when you were younger. So never be afraid. Don't live in fear of things. You know, if you've got erectile dysfunction, get it checked, get it looked at. These things need to be checked and need to be looked at. Please keep us updated. We will be. Adam, thank you. This is a really quick there. It's a silent killer because men are usually reluctant. That's correct. We just need to stop being reluctant. Ryan, thank you very much. Much love to you both. Lee Walker's watching. It's 9 o'clock. This has been Talk and Thrive because mental health matters. I will be doing a live tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to be saying, but it'll be about this man. And thank you very much for watching. Good night. God bless. Have yourself a good rest at Sunday. And I wish you wouldn't wear those hats because they are
They are so fashionable, John. You are such an out-of-date young man.
That's my dad, Gary. That is my dad, who we've been doing for the last hour talking about prostate cancer on It's Worth Talking About because mental health matters. So Gary's one of my mates who I talk to daily through Facebook.
Gary, I'm a Northern Soul fan, and this is a pork pie hat. It goes with it. Prince of Wales suit, black and white tie, the business, brogues, loafers.
We're not on radio now, so you just look a pillock.
No, I'm off, pal.
Right, good night, God bless, thank you for tuning in.